Ciao, everybody. Welcome to the Bianconerizone live show. Today is Wednesday, December 1st, 2021. It's just me today, Julian Gennady. Everyone else ditched me. Justin's doing some of his own stuff. I'm doing, obviously, this. And Alejandro's, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. He told me he's busy. So you get me today on the first day of December. Basically, what we're going to go through today is first I'm going to talk about the main topic of our thumbnail. It's Arthur, and then I'm literally going to open it up to the rest of you, and I'm going to answer all your questions. We're going to do a Q&A today. It's always fun to do these if the questions are good. If the questions aren't good, then I'm going to get kind of annoyed, but we'll see what happens. So without further ado, we're going to go with the topic of the day, and it's Arthur Melo. What's his future with the club? And to be honest with you, in my view, he's got no future at this point because, as you can see, with Max Allegri at the helm, and he's going to be here for a while, it's almost as if he doesn't trust him, for one. Two, he just doesn't suit the formation or the system that Allegri plays. So with that, I don't see a future. There's absolutely no way he can stay at the club because he makes so much money as well. Is he still considered an asset? I don't know. He's still, like, if we were to sell him, we're not getting 72 million for him. But regardless, we can talk about it, where he fits and where his best position is. And in my opinion, hello, Home of Juve, how's it going? And in my opinion, his best position is in a possession dominant club where you get the ball 70% of the game, and he has to be the register as a deep line playmaker, deep line playmaker. So with that, what I'm gonna ask you guys, Morton and Home of Juve, what's Arthur's best position? Because I think he has to play in a 4-3-3 as a deep lying midfielder or deep lying playmaker, and it has to be a ball dominant team, which we are not at all. So hi Morton and hi number 10. We know that he does not have the engine to help defend. And you know how much Allegri loves to just sit back and defend sometimes. So obviously Arthur's never going to be used in those types of games. Yesterday was probably the greatest opportunity to use Arthur to just dictate the play in tempo. It was a ball dominant game for us, and we didn't see him play for 2 minutes. We didn't see him play at all. I thought that was a game where Locatelli could have used a break after it hit the 80th minute and the game was done and dusted. I think Arthur could have just came on and showed that he belongs somehow, but obviously in Allegri's eyes, it's not happening. It's not happening with him. Again, we know that he does not have the engine. We know that he is not defensively responsible. And number 10, you just put it perfectly. He does not fit Allegri's player at all. He's not a suitable Allegri player. I think it's best if we try and sell him ASAP. Now, at this point, how much value does he have? Because he hasn't played a lot recently, and he has injury history and all that. Could he be used as a swap player to swap in with another player incoming? That could be always an option. I'm hoping that's the way we go about it, because we're never gonna resell him at fair value. And it's a shame that we're talking about this today because he is a player that caused us. He's one of the players that's caused us to be under investigation for financial doping and cooking the books. So it's a shame that we couldn't get a player like that on board and integrated properly. Number 10 is, or sorry, Morton saying no one fits Allegri in his head. That's funny. And then number 10 says Allegri needs a physical midfielder for his football. 100%. We've seen this. We've seen this now. The midfielders he uses consistently on a regular basis. It is Locatelli, physical midfielder, who's actually good on the ball though. Rabiot, physical midfield. Well, he's deemed as a physical midfielder, not that he actually does it. Rodrigo Bentancur, physical midfielder, and Weston McKennie, physical midfielder. Those are his main guys at the moment. Ramsey out of the picture. Arthur starting to be out of the picture, if not already. Um, it's clear as mud. Uh, can we get a not mid table, but like, can we get a lower, like a top four team in Spain to buy him? Hopefully, maybe like a Sevilla that's been rumored. That'd be pretty good. Um, but again, do they have 35 million just to spend on him to buy him? I don't think so. So I don't think a Premier League team's going to go and buy Arthur. I had a lot of hopes for Arthur, especially when Pirlo was going to be the coach. I thought he would learn a lot under Pirlo, but he was hurt half the season, and he didn't really understand what Pirlo wanted. Pirlo wanted long vertical balls quickly, and Arthur could not provide that. And we've seen Arthur can't provide that, even with Allegri, who wants almost the exact same thing. Um, it's another player that if we don't sell as soon as possible, it's going to be considered dead wood. Um, and we have too many of those at the moment. So hopefully Cherubini has a better understanding of the situation, and he's better than Paratici at selling players. So that's my opening statement on Arthur. We got 7 people in here right now. If you guys could all like the video, that'd be great. I'm on my own today. I need all the help I can get with questions. I see Homo Vive has a question, and I will address it shortly. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Once we hit 1,800, and we're well on our way, I will be dropping a Nicolo Fagioli Coach's Corner. So that's your treat for getting all the subscribers in. Also, hit the bell icon to stay notified for all the latest information in regards to latest news about the team and off the field stuff, like what we're going through right now, investigation wise. Also, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, it says join the members club. It says in the description of this video how you can sign up for it. It really helps us move the channel forward and gives us a better community to just join and let you guys join us and talk about stuff like face to face, not just always in this text group. Um, so we're pretty close to initializing that phase of the channel. We just need more help, and that comes from you guys. So become a member today. I know Danilo Wall, I know Joseph Carballo, Hanin, Andrew Finnan's a member. All these guys, or all these members that continuously contribute to the chats. We really appreciate them. So number 10 saying Arthur really never wanted Juve anyway. That's also pretty true. Um, he was very content on staying at Barcelona if he had to, but they basically forced him out. And Morton says it pains me to see Ramsey in our club, and then we say we need to get rid of Arthur because of Allegri. I mean, regardless of the situation right now, they both need to go. Um, Arthur does possess quality. He does have some good technical ability about him, but with this coach currently in place, and we know he's going to stay for the 4 years. Well, at least he's probably going to stay for the 4 years. Arthur doesn't fit here. And again, he's an asset that you could probably sell at this moment, and it's better than having to sell De Ligt or Chiesa. I'd rather sell Arthur instead of those two, right? So if he's not going to be a contributing member of the squad and someone's going to be willing to buy him for a good chunk of change, he's got to go. So now let's get to, again, we're going to go straight into a Q&A now. Whatever you guys want to ask, I'll address, and I'll start with Home of Juve saying, is it true that we will sign Owen Wijndal for Alexander's replacement? 21 years old from Holland. He's getting a lot of assists. So Owen Wijndal, he's on, I'm pretty sure he's not on Ajax, he's on the PSV, I believe. So he's very decent left back. He's fast. He can attack very well. I don't know if he's a suitable replacement. Again, if our coach is Allegri, can he defend? That is the biggest question that we have at this point. Can Owen Weindel defend, and can he jump into Serie A right away under Allegri, and can he contribute not just offensively but defensively as well? Because that is the biggest question with Luca Pellegrini right now. We know Pellegrini is all right at going forward. We know he can cross the ball, but the criticisms come for his defending. And with all due respect to Luca Pellegrini, he definitely needs to work on that. There was a point last year where he was getting benched at Genoa at a very bad team. And if you can't make it at Genoa, then how do you expect to continuously make it at this level for Juventus? So sorry, I made a mistake with Vindal. He's not on PSV. He's on AZ Alkmaar. So there you go. If apparently he's a very good left back for that league. Will he be good on Juventus? Who knows? That I don't even know if we're truly linked to him. I don't know if Juve just wants one of his compatriots to join. I'm not sure. Um, Anthony Baldoni says it'll be very hard to sell him given the price tag. I assume you're talking about Arthur, and I agree. It's going to be like we're definitely not going to sell him for what we bought him for, especially now that all the investigations are coming in for financial doping. We're definitely not going to be able to sell him for what we bought him for. And then again, everyone's going to say, well, we sold Pjanic for 60 mil to counterbalance the 12. So we bought Arthur for 72 mil. Then we sold Pjanic for 60 mil. And so that's a 12 million difference. We still bought Arthur Melo for 72 million euros. And that's a lot of money, and we're not making that back. No chance. Um, I think a good selling point for him would be probably 30 to 35 million. Just because he still is in his mid 20s, and he still is like, again, he is not suited for this team, but he could be suited for another team out there, definitely. Um, so yeah, so right now, people that are joining in right now, we're doing a Q&A, and it's basically you ask me whatever you want to ask me. It doesn't even have to be about Juventus if you really don't want it to be, and I will answer to the best of my abilities. We did start off by talking about Arthur, how he's not going to fit here anymore, and how he needs to probably just seek a move elsewhere. Stephanie Velasquez says, that's crazy to me. Juve finances are a complete L sometimes. Oh, 100%. 100%. This team, this club, I don't think the last time they were able to sell someone of like, well, Joao Cancelo was a good sale, 65 mil. That's good. And the when we first sold Moise Kean for 27 mil, that was the last time where we could actually probably say, yeah, we sold some players. Because recently, I don't recall selling anyone of substance. Obviously, Ronaldo we sold, but we sold him for like 15 million euros, but spread out across 5 years. Like he's probably going to retire, and we're still probably going to get some like a little bit of money coming in from him for Man United. Um, but yeah, our finances are at this the past couple of seasons have been an absolute joke. We don't know how to sell players. We don't know how to sell the right players. That's a big thing. Um, it's always got to be that player that is probably a starting 11 player, but like the board believes is expendable. So again, a guy like Cancelo, the board probably thought he was expendable, especially for 65 million euros, and he didn't really fit under like again an attacking right or attacking fullback that couldn't defend. And Allegri at the time was the coach. So Allegri probably had a lot of say in that transfer outgoing. Again, Moise Kean, he was a teenager who came on, scored 6 goals in 13 games, um, and guess what? Sold him for 27 million. That was a good sale. That was a good sale. But again, you probably could have kept him in and let him mature and get nurtured in the Juventus setup, and then not bought him back now for 35 million euros or however much it's going to cost at the end, and now he has to restart it from fresh to learn the Juventus way. So, Stephanie, I 100% agree with you. The finances here are crazy, like crazy bad, and it's got to change. I hope, like, hopefully, bringing in Cherubini will change something about it, especially the selling aspect. Um, I hope we don't have to resort to selling De Ligt and Federico Chiesa because that just puts us in a worse position. Unless they ask. If the player asks to leave, then okay, I get it. You sell the player. Like when Vidal asked to leave, sell the player. Okay, sucks, but you got to do it. Same with Pogba. Pogba asked to leave, sell him, top dollar, boom, beautiful. So unless if the player doesn't ask to leave, I really hope we don't end up selling De Ligt and Chiesa. Um, Anthony Baldoni saying we have given too many players such high salaries that they don't even want to leave. 100%. They're all cushy right now. Um, Ramsey, Rabiot, 7+ million. Bernardeschi, 4+ million at the moment. That's why he's not getting a new contract. Um, all these Alexandro, geez, like I think he's making north of 5 million euros. He's not going anywhere unless he's offered a better contract somewhere else. These players are on way too high of wages. But again, if the pandy never happened, and ifs, ands, or buts, whatever, if the pandy never happened, I believe that no one would be batting an eye at these wages because I think we would be financially stable enough to add to the squad and these guys would become irrelevant. I think in the past 2 years, with all the reports that were going around, like Pogba was coming back. Pogba was coming back, so that would have meant Ramsey, like, you're eighth on the pecking order now. So, like, you're leaving or you're just picking up a wage, which is fine because we would have had financial stability anyway. But now that the finances are in crisis, of course everything's under the microscope. Of course everything is going to be, oh my God, this guy makes 7 million euros and he stinks. Well, yeah, of course, because now money's an enemy for the club. So again, Anthony, you're absolutely correct, but at the time, everything was rainbows and butterflies before the pandy, and we were making quite a bit of money. Dembrile saying Napoli should have lost, fix the league. Last time I saw they were winning 2-0. I don't. What happened? Did something controversial happen? Oh my God! Napoli or Sassuolo tied it, and now everyone's gonna say we need Scamacca to sign for us because Scamacca's scoring all these goals now. How about this? If anyone can remember, next time you see Alejandro in the live or whenever he's live next, ask him if we should sign Scamacca. He'll love that question. So Dembele, if you can answer why the league is fixed after that game, I let me know because I saw it was 2-2, and I want to know if there anything controversial happened. Stephanie saying, I think Juve will be top four. Look at Napoli, Roma, Milan losing points. Atalanta will bottle it like they always do. We have to worry about mid-table teams though. Yeah, like a Bologna is now tied with us in points, and we're on the same amount as Fiorentina. Um, I think as the season progresses, that might change. We will distance ourselves at least from those clubs. Um, the major the major team we have to go and chase is Atalanta, and if that's the team we need to try and catch. Will we do it? It's tough. It's tough. So we'll move on from there. Philippe, I love how you always comment in the comment section, but I can never understand. I can never understand your comments. Um, yeah, when you're saying Bentancur and Rugani at center back, I don't agree. But then he's saying for forwards, Chiesa, Dybala, Sule, Kulusevski is okay. Sure. Morton's asking a question. What is Allegri's style when it comes to the age of his players? Does he prefer 28 plus of age? Because then our midfield will be sitting ducks regarding the transfer market. I think if Max Allegri had his say on what he wanted, he would have he would have three midfielders 30 years old right on with experience, a winning pedigree, and that are industrious and physical. Those would be his three midfielders for sure. If he had control of his own club. Now we know that right away because Axel Witsel was the first name on the guy's list. Axel Witsel, 32 years old, coming off an Achilles injury, a torn Achilles, was the first name on his list. And of course, um, as Juventini, we appreciate Axel Witsel for the player, but we're trying to go into this new transition and regime where it's based on younger players, so they can grow into a winning cycle again. Um, but again, if it was strictly up to Allegri and he was in Carabini's boots, it would 100% like Axel Witsel would be a Juventus player like last market in the summer session. 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. Um, Now, this is the question I've always brought up to Alejandro and anyone else who I've talked to. Is Allegri on the same page as Cherubini? Because we were told that we are going for younger Italian profiles or just younger players in general. Um, and the first name again we're linked with in December is Axel Witsel. So are we on the same page? I'm on the same page as Cherubini. Like we need to just we like it's almost we need to rebuild, but not in a North American sense. We need to rebuild and still be very good, and that's tougher. That's very tough to do. Like getting players of Chouameni's quality is absolutely needed. Yes, they don't have the true winning mentality yet, but they have the international experience now, the European Cup level experience, and playing on a decent team in a decent league, and just being eye test shows that he's quality. So a guy like Chouameni has to be your first go-to player. If you're going Cherubini's route, if you're going uh, Allegri's route, it's Pogba, 100%. But again, it depends on the finances. It depends on if Cherubini can agree to a deal, and it's tough. It's tough nowadays, especially with the finances. Um. Oh, so okay. Hold on. Before we get into Xavier's comment, Stephanie's saying 2-2 with a disallowed goal. I guess for Sassuolo. Um, Again, referees are always going to be referees in this league, and we can't. We know it's going to some sketchy stuff is going to happen. That's just the state of the league. Stuff happens for us. Stuff happens against us. Like the Chiellini goal yesterday. Was it offside? Probably, depending who drew the lines. Like those lines said he was offside. I don't know. Were they properly lined up? Who knows? Um, so again, stuff happens against us. Stuff happens for us. Like the our penalty shot against Inter, he got nicked. Alexandra got nicked by Dumfries. I would never call that in 100 years a penalty shot. I would never call it even a free kick. But again, referees are different. The rules are the league is different in Italy. So Xavier, I'm going back to Xavier's comment. After watching Keane play yesterday, I can see why Allegri is picking Morata. I personally think bringing back Keane was a mistake. Um, before we just I like because I will end up pooping on Keane here, but before I do that, it was a panic buy. It was a panic buy to bring him back in the first place. We saw as soon as Ronaldo just stopped practicing with us, Mino Raiola was in the office the next day, and it was about Keane. So it was all downhill from there basically because Ronaldo was leaving and Keane was coming. Um, I think he had it a bit easy at PSG last year, and he had the counting stats to show everyone that he could still provide goals and goal contributions. Um, but he was not a focal point for PSG, and I think that made us a little blindsided because when he comes here, he's the focal point in attack, and he can't even get himself open in the opposition area at this moment in time, even against a 20th place Salernitana. The one time Morata, he created space for himself twice. One resulted in a goal, the other resulted in a penalty shot. So we know that Alvaro Morata is at this point still a better option than Keane. But it was nice to see that Keane was given an opportunity to prove himself um, by Allegri. So I give Allegri credit for that. So Dembele's explaining the Sassuolo game again. Sassuolo scored a third goal, but it was disallowed because Berardi's so-called foul on one of Napoli's defenders. Okay. Well, again, I remember last year in the first game against Milan, Rabiot got fouled, but it went to VAR or didn't even go to VAR. So if it was worse than that, foul's a foul. But if it wasn't worse than that, then you have some questions to ask. Then Dan goes on to say Zakaria is coming to Juve in January. Never mind Witsel. Hey, it's not up to me. It's definitely not up to me. Um, Out of those two players, I prefer Zakaria because long term he probably would be better than Witsel, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in January if we can even sign anybody. What are the finances going to look like? So that's in a month, and Zakaria will have to be an outright purchase if we want him in January. If we wait and we sign him as a free agent, he won't be able to come till June. So that's another thing you have to take into consideration. Um, Kulu has to play more games to gain confidence. I 100% agree with you, Alejandro Paredes. You saw yesterday was the best game of the season. He was played in his proper position as a right winger that's closer to the forward. And I've been saying that since July. That is his best position. He thinks he's better in the middle. I think he's better exactly where he was yesterday, and he was better. He still had some loose touches here and there, of course. It's going to happen. Young player. But provided an assist. He looked dangerous every time he had the ball facing Salernitana's goal. And I'm happy with his performance yesterday. Again, it wasn't a 10, but it was at least a 6.5, 7 at minimum. Mohammed saying Allegri really has an ego and doesn't like when people tell him to change something when it's not working. His 4-4-2 formation, and this actually needs to stop and needs to give back to Juventus too. So yesterday in his post-game press conference, he's like, "Yeah, the veterans need to give back to Juventus for everything that Juventus has given to them." And I think Chiellini said the same thing, and then Bernardeschi said the same thing. I agree. They should be giving back, and Allegri for the first time in months changed from a 4-4-2 before the game even started and used a 4-2-3-1, and it looked like there was an idea. It looked like there was a style of play. The fullbacks went further forward. Locatelli dictated from a central position and allowed him to spray the ball wider so Luca Pellegrini and Quadrado could have the opportunity to attack. Not saying they always did. Not saying they took the opportunity, but they still did. And yesterday, there was a passage of play from like 39 minutes to like 41 minutes. There was just one touch football, boom, 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 boom. And I was like, wow, that's great. Again, against 20th place Salernitana, but you could see that there was an idea because against other lesser opponents, we didn't see that. So at some stages yesterday, it looked decent. Again, always got to preface this 20th place Salernitana, the Salerno cheeses. Um, so we'll see what Allegri brings on Sunday against Genoa, because against Genoa, I think we should take that exact same starting 11, maybe switch out Bentancur uh, for who knows, I don't know yet, but I think we should still do that 4-2-3-1. I think Pellegrini deserves another chance to start, and I think Quadrado should start again as the fullbacks, and I want to see them get at their players. I want to see them get forward and attack more. Uh, it might be a little bit more difficult, seeing as though Genoa play with 3-5-2 with wingbacks, but that just leads more to more opportunities for Kulusevski as the inside right forward or right midfielder or whatever in a 4-2-3-1. And I hope it's not Bernardeschi, but it most likely will be Bernardeschi again as the left-sided one. As long as there's closer, as long as those players are closer to where the main striker is, whether it's Keane or Morata on Sunday, that just helps them out even more. Like, if the closer you guys are together, the spacing is still key. Like, you can't be on top of each other. But if you're 8 to 10 yards apart from striker to Bernardeschi to Kulusevski and Dybala, the better it is. That means you suck out the opposition defenders, so they're not all in banks of 5 or whatever, defending for their lives. Spacing is key in this sport. And I saw yesterday somebody commented that it was a really boring game. Yes, but a lot of Man City games are boring. Why? Because they always have the ball and other teams are defending for their lives. Yesterday, Salernitana was defending for their lives, and we were just had the ball. Was it good enough? No. Was it penetrative enough? No. But still, it wasn't because we were bad. It's because we were so ball dominant and it was going back and forth, back and forth. Samba, nice. I remember you for that name. Samba says, but Allegri said there's no transition at Juve. So that was kind of weird. He said that there's no transition at Juventus in terms of winning, but the players, obviously there has to be a transition between the old guard and the new players coming in. Like, De Ligt is learning on the go. He needs the players to learn on the go. That's what he means. He can't, like, you're not at Juventus. You can't take a year off from winning. You still need to win, but you need to integrate the newer players to understand that as you go along. That's what he meant. And Bobby Davaros, I assume that's your last name. Bobby Davaros says, I assume about Kulusevski, he's still young. He's not had many minutes. This year in particular, he's not had many minutes. I don't know if I don't know if Allegri really trusts him at this moment. But after yesterday, I think you can start. I think Allegri should start trusting him more, seeing as though Chiesa is out, and you don't really need to pack a midfield against these teams coming up. So I think Kulusevski is going to get a lot of playing time here, and and a chance to show himself. So there's more people in the chat now. There's 21 or 20 plus in the chat right now. I am doing a Q&A. Ask me whatever you want to ask me. Just like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. At 1,800 subscribers, I will be doing a Nicolo Fagioli Coach's Corner. Never forget about that. And at the bottom right-hand corner, you can become a member of the Bianconeri Zone, and you get a lot of perks that come along with it, and it helps us grow the channel as much as possible. The link is in the description, so feel free. So going on with the comments. Again, Philippe, I can't understand. I'm sorry. Home View is saying Napoli, Roma dropped some points, so we should take the advantage and win our next fight. This is what I'm saying. So yesterday I came on here. And said yesterday's win means absolutely zero if we don't win the next 4 league games. And we need to win out December. We need to maximize our points, because if we don't do that, we're not catching anybody up. Like yesterday, we matched Atalanta's result. And today Inter's result and Milan's result. And I know Roma lost, so we got closer to them. But we need to really focus on Atalanta if we want to get Champions League. So we need to win. Like I said, we need to win out here, and I will feel more confident and more comfortable at least, and it would put pressure on the other teams as well. But we need to do our job first. Don't worry about anyone else right now. Just do our job. Win Sunday. Easy. Win it. Xavier saying, I like Kulu, but we need to sell him and Arthur. If we don't bring in a midfielder to aid Locatelli, I highly doubt we have a chance at winning important games. So, Xavier, I think that's what the whole idea about bringing Zakaria in January is all about. Because he is a free agent at the end of the season, and I believe his transfer fee will be quite low in January. I think if we offered like 6 to 10 million max, we could get him, um, and he could alleviate the pressure from Locatelli in a way that Allegri wants that to happen. So Zakaria could be the muscle, and Locatelli could be the muscle with a brain. I'm not saying Zakaria doesn't have a brain. I'm just saying Locatelli has a bigger brain. Um, so the ideal signature in January is Zakaria, out of almost necessity rather than scouring the market for a better player. And again, Zakaria, he's a international football player, played in major tournaments. He's played in the Champions League for Mönchengladbach. Um, he's a decent player. So bringing him in just pushes down people in the pecking order as well. You won't see Bendigur as much, I assume. You won't see Rabiot or McKennie as much, we assume. But you'll see Zakaria and Locatelli a lot, and I like that. In terms of Kulu and Arthur, I think at the top of the show, I first went off saying Arthur definitely needs to go. So, j- not because he's a bad player. Again, I'm not trying to knock Arthur being a bad player, but he's just not Allegri's guy. So it's better that we can get money for an asset right now because he's still, like I said, in his mid 20s. He still has a decent market value, so you can sell him for a decent amount of money. I, I'm skeptical. I want to see if Kulusevski plays in December. So I'm skeptical of Kulusevski right now. If Kulusevski plays well in this month, I think he might change Allegri's mind. But again, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Mohamed Suleiman is saying Pellegrini in his last 3 games has been really decent and should play more often to improve because Sandro is really done at this point. Yeah, Sandro started out the year as being 2017 Sandro, but now it's just it's not there anymore. He's not good. He's not a good player. And you saw it firsthand against Chelsea. He just got rinsed. And then against Atalanta, he was poor again. In terms of Pellegrini, he was pretty good against Lazio. I won't lie. I'm not gonna poo-poo Pellegrini's performances, but he wasn't really put. I want to see him push defensively if he can keep up in a defensive shape. Because if you can't do that, then you gotta probably look elsewhere again. Um, because Allegri again, he loves defensive minded players that are responsible and can keep a clean sheet if we don't score goals. Like I could the first game against Chelsea, the first match day against Chelsea, I couldn't see Pellegrini playing that game ever. Everyone was so interlocked and so condensed and in their team shape defensively that there was no chance Chelsea was scoring. I think if Pellegrini plays that game, I can't see him doing that right now. Will he learn? I hope. Because then you don't have to buy a left back. You already have one. A costly one at that. He was 22 million euros. Financial doping. um, Anthony Baldoni is going off about how we won yesterday. We really did need that win, but again, it's not going to matter if we don't win out this month. Enzo is saying we need to sign Zakaria. Yeah. Um, if he's the best option at this current moment, yes. Can we do it? I hope. Do we have the money to do it? I think so. So I don't think there's going to be um, anything in our way to sign or to chase Zakaria, unless it's um, unless it's a team like Barcelona or Bayern Munich saying, "Hey, come to us instead." One, because Bayern Munich is better than us. Two, is because he'd rather play for Barcelona, and he said that. Morton is asking a very good question. He's saying, have we, or are we in danger to, damage our reputation in the transfer market? I'm thinking about our ongoing ability not buying the right players, not counting Locatelli in this. Um, I think our we have a bad reputation in selling players already. I think that's already clear as day because we can't sell. We couldn't sell Matuidi. We couldn't sell Higuain. Um, we couldn't sell Costa. We couldn't sell all these players that at one point, like we bought Gonzalo Higuain for 90 million euros, like 3 years, no, 4 years ago. Um, and we couldn't sell him for anything after 3 years. That's crazy. And then Matuidi we bought for 20 million euros, and then 3 years later we couldn't sell him for a penny. And it's not like his contract was done either. Like we just said go. Same with Douglas Costa. I think he had 1 year left on his contract as well, and we just sent him to Gremio because we couldn't sell him, and we bought him for 40 million. We do have a very bad reputation at selling players in Europe, 100%. So buying players, I'm not gonna say we have a bad reputation in buying players because Delit was the correct purchase. Um, doesn't matter how much he was. Like at the time, that's a very good signing, and it still is to this day. Um, Keane, obviously not a great signing. Ramsey Rabiot, those were Bossman deals. Um, that bad. It was bad. Um, who else did we have? Locatelli was a good signing. I don't know if Kyle. We'll see about Kyle George, but Keane at this stage not very good. We got bullied in that transfer, to be honest. At this moment in time, um, I know a lot of people don't rate McKennie, but for 20 million, and if he's going to stay for a while at least, if he's going to stay for 3 or 4 years, and we bought him for 20 million, I don't mind that signing, especially if he's going to score his goals again. Like last year, he scored six. This year, he's got two or three already again. So he's back on the score sheet. He's back to doing what he needs to be doing. So I don't mind the McKennie signing at this moment. If we could sell him, of course, but for more than what we signed him for. But I don't think that's a failure signing. Kulusevski at this moment in time, he's contributed 8 goals and 8 assists in like almost 70 games. That's not really good enough. But again, you got to understand, he played his first full season as a striker, playing in a 4-4-2 with Pirlo. Um, and then this year, he's not even playing any minutes under Allegri in a defensive system. So 16 goal contributions in 70 odd games or something. He's still only 21, so I can't say that's a bust yet. I can't. I can't bring myself to it yet. Let me know what you think. Is Kulusevski a bust signing? Let me know. Keep asking questions too, because this is good. Enzo's Enzo's saying Damsgaard needs to be signed too. You know what? He's been so poor for Sampdoria this year, like very hot and cold. I don't think it's worth it because if we sell Kulusevski or Chiesa, then maybe. But at this moment in time, I don't see Damsgaard being a good signing that we need at this moment. Because last year he wasn't that great at Sampdoria in Serie A. He had some good games again, but then he exploded for Denmark at the Euro Cup, and everyone's like, "Yeah, buy him, buy him, buy him." It's like, hold on, he didn't have a great season. If people don't want Vlahovic, people should not want Damsgaard because Vlahovic had a great season last year in Serie A, improved himself, and he started to do it, and he's doing it again this year. Damsgaard's barely proved himself last year, had a decent Euro Cup, and now he's fluttering right now at Sampdoria. Um, so yeah. So in terms of Damsgaard, I don't think we need him. Stephanie is saying, yeah, I like how Locatelli was controlling the field, very leadership-like and showed character. Yeah, for sure. when he was when on the ball when we had our proper shape with the fullbacks wide, Locatelli was dictating play. It was going through him most of the time, and he was playing forward, and that was key. Whenever it got to Bentancur's feet, it was going sideways or backwards. Which, if it's going sideways to Locatelli, I don't mind because he'll play the ball forward. But other than that, um, the ball needs to be at Locatelli's feet. And then defensively, he's just an animal as well. Like he'll block any shot. He's very he has the grinta with him. So I like Locatelli, and I'm gonna like him even more when he's able to be pushed further forward. Um, Timothy Naha says we have bad reputation for selling and buying. We are screwed both ways. So I think I just touched on that a bit. Our selling is horrendous. Our selling capabilities is horrendous. I think the last time we sold a player again, so I just remembered it was Emre Can for a good chunk of money, and I guess Demiral now. Like our fourth choice center back was sold for like 28 million, I believe. It's not horrible. Is it what we wanted to do? Probably not as well because Demiral, he's a good player. Um, Mohammed saying against Malmo, Allegri should play Caio Jorge and play Sule in the last 30 minutes at least because we already through to the round of 16. He needs to give these youngsters a chance. Mohammed, Caio Jorge did not make the Champions League list, so he can't play. And I believe Sule didn't quite make the registration time. So I think we're out of luck for them playing in the Champions League. I could be wrong because Alejandro was looking into it for Sule, and he might be able to play. He might be able to play on to or no on Wednesday. But yeah, I agree. Play all your non-starters for the Champions. Like give who's an option. Like let Rugani play. Start Rugani and definitely let Kulusevski play the whole game. Timothy's saying, yeah, but when you buy players, you can't have so much room for error. Maybe we have a 50% success rate. This is terrible. Oh, for sure. 100%. It's not good. I never said it was good. It it's not. Our signing like when again when you sign younger players, you're always taking a gamble. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. Like even if you signed Erling Haaland tomorrow, it's still a gamble because you're going to pay so much money and he might get hurt. He might not suit the system, right? Like again, you definitely want to buy Haaland, but it could go south just as fast as it works. It's always a gamble buying younger players. But you're right. At our current pace, we are horrendous in the transfer market. Timothy saying, oh, again, he's continuing. Name one other team that are worse than us in buying players. Arsenal, easy. Nicola Pepe, 72 million, horrendous. Ben White, 55 million, horrendous. Like horrendous. They have all that money and they can't do what they want. They can't buy proper players. So that's an easy one. Xavier saying this is out of topic, but if we had kept Immobile at Juventus, do you think he would score for us as much as he does for Lazio? Ciro has consistently been a top striker in Serie A for a handful of seasons now. Um, no, I'm just going to straight up say he wouldn't be as good because he was allowed to grow his game at Torino. I forget where he went the first time, and then when he went abroad, you saw when he went to those better teams abroad at Dortmund and Sevilla. Um, you saw that he couldn't keep up. So then when he got into a decent team like Lazio and he was allowed to take the reins and be a great player in a smaller market, because let's be serious, Lazio isn't the biggest market. Um, he grew and he became this goal scoring machine. Even with Torino, he scored 22 plus goals or 20 plus goals. So I don't think he was ever going to do well at a team like us, only because I don't think he'd struggle to make his way as a starting forward or starting striker. James Tonin, so Zio Jimmy, Kulu not a bust. Allegri has to put him in a better position to succeed. On another team, Kulu would be 100%. The way we set up yesterday, as him being closer to the striker and not being so far out wide, it was successful. Like again, I said it was his best game of the season yesterday. Again, 20th place Salernitana, so take it with a grain of salt. But it was his best game of the season yesterday. So he was in the position where he could maximize his skill set, and that's what I've been wanting this whole time. Just let him play in that spot, and he will be good. Norbert Hushti saying Ben White was only expensive because of Brexit. Same with Maguire. Okay, but he's still 55 million euros or pounds, which is even more euros. Um, Mohammed saying we should still have gotten James Rodriguez. He's still a really good player, and he's the type of player we need because he's a creative in the mid. Sad he went to Qatar for money. Um, his wage would have been too much for us to handle. That's why he went to Qatar. Um, honestly, we already have a James Rodriguez type of player in Dybala, like a guy who doesn't really track back defensively. He's not really very good defensively, but he's good on the ball. Um, so we already have Dybala. We don't really need James Rodriguez. And the Bandits Gospel saying Lazio makes my soft. It's weird comment from him, but whatever. So yeah, so keep getting your questions in. We're doing a Q&A. Today it's December 1st, the first day of December. One thing I want to point out is Dybala's contract still isn't signed, and in 31 days, or 30 days, I guess, he can sign with whatever team he wants to with no transfer fee. And that is not good. So that's one of the elephants in the room currently at the squad. Again, Bernardeschi changed agents, and he's still not getting a contract offer from us. That's the latest on that free agent, or that incoming free agent. Perine's probably not going to get re-signed. I can see DeShilo getting re-signed as a depth player, not for a small wage, of course, which I don't mind. It just better not be more than 1.5 million euros. Just keep it lower than that, and you take DeShilio, because again, he can do a job, um, and he's hurt a lot, so he's not really gonna get mad about playing time. It's going back on the James Rodriguez conversation. He says the ball is always injured, sadly. Knock on wood. Um, yeah, but like what? Like James Rodriguez, he's fallen off the face of the earth at this moment, right? Like he was okay for Everton when he first got there, and then he kind of dwindled. So James Rodriguez, nah, not none of that. And then he's saying we need at least another 2 years to start competing again. I agree with that, but I also don't think that it's necessary. Like, because we can compete with the top teams right now. Hi, Ange. What's going on? um, okay, so Mohammed's on the James Rodriguez train here. He dwindled because Ancelotti left to Madrid. Well, he also wasn't that great halfway through Ancelotti's season, or else Everton would have been better, because Everton started very well when Ancelotti first got there. So, again, hop off the James Rodriguez train. Morton, I think he's going to stick up for his Danish compatriot here. In Denmark, we're of course happy with Damsgaard, no surprise, but he has to step up, which is not easy because of the way Sampdoria plays. In a way, the same situation with Chiesa in a 4-4-2. Yeah, exactly. So, Morton, correct me if I'm wrong, but at Denmark, you guys play in a 4-3-3, correct? And he's a left midfielder usually. So, I think he's more. Again, you got to put the players in positions where they will succeed. Damsgaard will not succeed when he has to defend and attack consistently. And if Sampdoria continues to play the 4-4-2, which they are, he's going to have to be defensively responsible, which takes away from his attacking game. Similar to what Kulusevski would have been asked to do. And Chiesa has been doing. Chiesa wants like we all want Chiesa to go forward and attack all the time. In the 4-4-2 setup, you can't do it. Now, if we continue to play in a 4-2-3-1 and Chiesa is able to be playing closer to a forward, or at least be on the opposite side of the balla where there's more space, I could see that working. For Damsgaard, I like Kondreva's having a great year for them, and I don't know who the other left midfielder is right now. I can't remember at the top of my head, but let's check here. So they started Valerio Verde. Cool. Oh, look at that. Radu Dragusin played yesterday. Good for him. But yeah, so in Damsgaard's case, I don't think he'd be good under Allegri. And I'm not trying to knock your compatriot, Morton, but I just don't see it happening. Like take it as a win that he doesn't come here. It doesn't get ruined. Um, Mohammed's saying, would you take Kessier if he's available for free next summer? Depending on wage, because he is a physical midfielder and he is right down Allegri's alley in terms of the player profile. And I believe Frank Kessier is only like 25 or something. I'd have to double check that. I'll just double check that now. Um, but yeah, Frank Kess. Okay, so he's 24, so he's gonna be 25 at the conclusion of the season. So Frank Kessier at 25 years old on a free, if if it's 4 million euros, I think you put your offer in, but I think he's gonna get more better offers because he's been asking for that, and I'm sure other teams can afford that. But for now, the player himself, yes, I'd take. The stipulations that come along with it, not sure. Oh, sorry, my knee. I hurt my knee in a men's league on Sunday. I tore my ACL like 4 years ago, and then I played Sunday again with my brace on, and I missed, and I got my foot got stuck in the turf, and then all my bones cracked, and they all like shattered together. It was pretty interesting noise. But yeah, Anthony Baldoni just speaks to what I just spoke to. The problem with Kessier is the wage that he's currently demanding. Exactly. If he was to lower it a bit and want to come to us, then yes, I would take Kessier, no problem. Um, so again, like the video, I have no idea how many likes there are because I don't have that in front of me because I'm not a technical producer like Alejandro, so I can't see those numbers. Like the video if you can, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because again, 1,800 subscribers means Julian is doing a coach's corner on Nicolo Fagioli, and or click the bell icon to stay notified for all our latest updates and information, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram because again, we're in the middle of an investigation here, off the field, and you probably want to know what's happening. And don't get your news anywhere else but from us. So Mohammed's asking if I still play football. Well, I'm not going to play for a couple weeks now, but yeah, I signed up for another Sunday league session, first time since the pandy hit, and I played 3 games. It was fine until my bones decided to crunkle up together. So I take it game by game at this point. But yeah, I still like to play. It's fun. We won 3 games, all 3 games that I played in, and we lost the game I didn't play in at the beginning of the season. So our goalie had a nightmare, apparently. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Because this is a Q&A session. We did start the broadcast, or not the broadcast, the show by talking about Arthur, um, and what his future looks like. I think he's done. I think he's just not an Allegri player. Um, that's funny. Mom is saying even you are injured. We are truly cursed this year. Yeah. Yeah, mine. There's a massive bump on my knee at this moment, so I need to go on the IR. Yeah, Stephanie's saying, does Juve need to sign you now? I would love if they signed me. I would 100% take their treatment and be paid a nice little sum or a nice sum of money. At 28 years old with a torn ACL, imagine they signed me. Imagine Juventus is like, yeah, sign this guy with a torn ACL. Give him Pinsolio wages to be the team cheerleader as an outfielder. 100%. 100%. Sign me right now. Um, by the way, if we're let's go into the all or nothing for a second because the amount of MRIs they do is crazy. I remember watching I think episode 7 or 8, and Bonucci had like 4 MRIs in like a month. Imagine like you played a game and you felt a little discomfort in your muscle and you just like, yeah, I can get an MRI and see what's going on. It's crazy. Um, that access to healthcare is like that's a big perk in its own right. Like I saw even Pirlo was getting a physical done. Good stuff. Morton saying, haha, no offense taken for regarding Damsgaard. Yeah. Again, everyone's got their opinion, and regarding Damsgaard, if if he was put into a position to succeed, I would take him for sure. But under Allegri, I think we all know that probably won't happen. Bun is saying, do you think we'll finish top four? I will give you that answer after our last game in December. I'm not going to say anything right now because as of right now, I'm saying no. But ask me again at the end of December and I'll let you know. And then Mohammed is saying, then we start coming after you saying how bad you're playing. Yeah. Oh, no, you'll never see me play the Mohammed. That's the thing. I'm going to be Pinsolio. I'm going to be the guy saying, Daikulu, Daikulu, or edging our players on and saying, let's go, guys. You'll never see me on the field if I ever sign for them. So yeah, are we gonna? Do we want to talk about the all or nothing more? Does anyone have anything they thought about the all or nothing? Because I have a few comments on that. Um, my first comments on the all or nothing are it was definitely veteran driven. It was definitely Italian veteran driven, and I think we would know that, and we would have to expect that because they believe in like obviously Chiellini, Buffon, Bonucci. They believe in the Juventus story, the history behind it. Like I don't think having a guy like Aaron Ramsey talk would be good because I think he would just poop on or he'd say some outrageous stuff maybe. And maybe he was interviewed and he did say some stuff and it just got cut. But it was very veteran driven, minus a little bit of interviews from McKennie and Delit. But other than that, like Ronaldo spoke a bunch. Pirlo was like the main star. Bonucci was the main star. Chiellini and Buffon, and it was weird because Chiellini barely like played half the season. Buffon played only 14 games. You probably wanted someone who was playing almost every game to talk more, but I think it was still well done. It was a well done documentary. I wish they did it. I wish they did that like 5 years ago at peak Juventus, like 2015 or 2017. But I thought it was good. I think it was just a little bit veteran heavy, and I think I would want for next time if they do it a season two. I think I would want more diversity among the interviews. Like I would want probably Chiesa to talk even more. I would want Kulusevski to actually talk. But yeah, so number 10 saying we have 6 midfielders. Ravella will be back in June, and we buy another midfield in January. So we'll have it and play 4-2-1. So ideally, if Ravella and another midfielder came in June, I would hope that two are going out. I would hope that Ramsey's definitely one of them, and then one of Rabiot and Arthur are also out the door. Because you cannot have eight midfielders. You cannot have eight center midfielders. It's just not good for anyone. The rotation would be crazy. So, and I think the way going forward with this club is either a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. Um, Mohammed's saying I haven't watched it, so how was it? I think I just answered it. So Mohammed's also saying they did it on Netflix. Yeah, they did a I think 2018, the year before Ronaldo came, they did a Netflix series on it, or a Netflix season on it, and that one wasn't as good, but um, I think it had a little bit more diversity. Like Benatia talked a lot, uh, Chiellini still talked a lot, Buffon still talked a lot. Um, but it was good. Yeah, 2018 season. Yep, that's the goal that Ronaldo scored the bike on. Um, so yeah. Oh, Morton has a funny comment. It's Ramsey. He lives in an MRI scanner. Yeah. He probably has his own. He has his own designated one. He has like there's a team one, and then there's the Ramsey MRI scanner. He probably goes in it every day. He must. The amount of injuries he has. Oh yeah, you got a sore leg or tired leg. Like okay, what was the word they used in the documentary series? I think it was edema or edema or something. I forget. Edema sounds right because it sounds more like an actual word. But yeah, guys. So I think we'll just end it there. Good talk today. Good questions. Tomorrow, I forget what we're doing on the show on the channel. We're obviously going to have our daily news update as per usual. So stay tuned for that. We actually for the first time in a while have a break in between games. Like Tuesday to Sunday is quite a big gap for us. We're usually playing every 3 or 4 days, so it's a nice change of pace. Um, so we like the team will be training now. I hope they're still doing a 4-2-3-1 in training. That'll be best for us. Um, at the end of the day, we I think I don't know if this is true anymore, but on the Juventus app, if you're a member of of Juventus in general, um, they give you access to some training sessions. And as a coach, I actually picked some of the sessions out that they did, and I used it with my 16-year-old team a couple times. Um, I wonder if they still do that because I stopped being a member because I didn't want to pay as much, to be honest. But I wonder if that's still a thing. If someone knows, let me know in the comments or DM me on Twitter because I would like to. I think I want to watch another session because I watched Maurizio Sarri's session. I want to see what Allegri does in his sessions. So there's that. Um, so we're gonna wrap it up there. We'll see you guys probably tomorrow. Friday we're doing the podcast, so it's not gonna be a live show. So tune in for that. Everyone, I assumed, liked the podcast because it did some good numbers. So stay tuned, like I said, for that. It's an hour of Ale and I, and hopefully Justin can join us, going back and forth about relevant topics with Juventus. Um, and it's more free flowing than lives are. So I think everyone enjoys that. So on behalf of myself, Julian Gennady, follow me at Gennady151. It says it right there on your screens. Follow Justin Saforo at Justin Saforo on Twitter, and follow Alejandro at AlejandroBZ on Twitter, and follow our account on Twitter, the Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone on Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date with all of the latest news, especially like I said on the investigation because we don't know what's actually happening with that yet. So for that, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. And we'll talk to you next time. See you guys. Thanks.